All right. Right now, y'all
If
haven't
yeah.
y'all haven't tried it. Right
Mm,
now, you guys are the what if. We're asking about the what if, but this is the start of your journaling process of where you will need to put it on paper. You need to look at it again, examine it again, and things will get foggy. And then it's your job to now. Then you become a detective, and if something is foggy but important, you will trace it, and you're gonna start asking your parents, do you remember when who was in my life when I was like 10 years old again? I remember somebody that was. You're going to start tracing it, okay? Does that make
sure.
sense? Does that make sense? All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So you have I why do we care so much about the past? Number 1, I don't no one's fond of the past, but I find it necessary for the healing process. What the Buddha says, you have to go through the pain in order to grow. You have to look at it we've been burying it for so long, especially family history. No one grows up with a perfect family. Horrendous, traumatic, reckless parenting, toxic parenting, horrendous parents. Some kids don't have parents, and I say, here, let me tell you something. Sometimes not having a parent is a wonderful thing. What did the Buddha say? The Buddha says, sometimes not getting what you really want could be a stroke of good luck. That's very comforting. And sometimes we want a loved one. Sometimes we want another parent. Sometimes we want, I don't know what we want. We want to win the lottery. You win the lottery, someone's going to try to kill you for your money. So maybe not getting what you really want could be a stroke of good luck. All right. But, anyways, so, but yes, that's important that you brought it up. Is that we do create our own fantasy and narrative. We do downplay what the truth is and was, and it is important that once you start catching it, or there's murky, it's foggy. Well, when it's foggy and you're walking through the fog, I think it's time to like grab a flashlight and now pierce through that fog. Now your job is to now pierce through the fog. That's detective work. That's when you go into the fog and start digging around a little bit deeper. Bec- if you do this right, in accordance to what I'm telling you, you'll never have to look at the past ever again, because you are now secure in the knowledge that this is how I was formed. This is how I was made. This is who I have become because of the past that I never examined. I'm angry today, and I never knew why. Well, first of all, when people get angry, they don't even know they're angry. They think it's normal until someone like me tell them it's not normal. Then they're like, "What? What? Well, that's not normal. What, my outburst that I just said a minute ago is not normal." I'm like, no, it's not normal. No, normal people don't do that. They don't do that often. And then they're like, "Oh, okay." And then they do exactly what I have told you guys to do, and then they realize, "Oh my goodness." Okay. So we have a question from Christine. Yes, go ahead. Yes, when you're explaining about when your memory is like foggy and you get the flashlight, you start going through things. And what I would like to know is that when I'm journaling or going back through different things that involves my father, I can't ask him any questions because he's passed away. And those memories I have that I would like to figure out was only between him and I when we were together. My siblings weren't around, my mother wasn't around. So in this particular instance, how would you go about trying to figure out when a loved one is passed? So you can't really ask them because they're gone. And you only know your perception, or how you perceive things, whether good, bad, in between. Okay. From what age to what age did you encounter with him or interacted with him? Let me see. Between 9 and 11, 12. That's it? 3 years? Give or take, yeah. Yeah. It was around that time, because that's basically the incident that I'm trying to analyze is why did he stop spending quality time with me? Like, he used to take me everywhere with him. And then it got to the point where, like, I remember the last time we actually spent that time was that when he went to the barbershop. It was like early in the morning, whatever. And that's one of the fond memories I remember. And, like I said, I'm journaling, trying to figure out, okay, well, what was going on at that time in my life?
Was I more sick at that time and I was in the hospital, or was he going through something, as a person, I don't know. I can't ask because he's dead.
Okay.
And
Who knows about him? Who knows about him and how he grew up?
my mother, to a certain degree of what he would share.
Okay. So you ask her questions. So you're a detective that don't know much will start asking her, but like, and then you can pick up certain inclinations. What you would start guessing what he would do. That's what a detective would do. It's kind of like, wait a minute, did he use drugs? Did he ever sold drugs? Did he ever, you know what I mean? You start asking stuff like that. But of course, in a family thing, it's like, what was his highest level of education? Then you can kind of figure out his world by understanding. You gather as much data as you possibly can, and then you write it down. And I'll make the interpretation because I'll look at it. I'll look at it through the informed lens of human development.
Okay.
Okay. Obviously, if someone did not grow up like a saint, is obviously not going to operate like a saint. Someone grew up around drugs is obviously gonna do things that is sketchy and shady. So it's my job to take that information in that you have gathered and then start trying to look at a global view, a systemic global view, and then make my best educated interpretation of it based upon my experience and 19 years of social work studying humans and how they live and how they die and how they treated their sons and daughters. Okay. So right now, yeah, like I said, you just got to get creative because you guys are all smart. I don't choose dumb students like a John Munn. John Munn said, if you're dumb, don't come here and find another teacher and just really, trace it. But yeah, that's a very good question. So you are allowed to watch Cold Case Detective series on A&E and YouTube. You have my
enough.
you have my permission to watch true crime so that you can understand how to reconstruct your past.
Okay.
Right? So I went to the police academy back in the day, and then my whole life growing up I loved detective fiction and stuff like that, and I paid attention to CSI, so that was one of my things. Remember, domestic violence made me want to become a cop, so I made sure that I studied when I was very young so that I become the best cop the world has ever seen. So it's the department's loss. So any department out there that want to hire me, well, too bad, I'm taken. Okay? All right. Any other questions you guys have? Steve, you good? Everyone's good, right? Yeah. This sounds like a lecture, but it's so necessary. It's going to benefit all of you. You know what I mean? I was abused. I was traumatized. I was bullied. I was all these things in a basket that the textbook says. And I had to make sense of each and every single one of those incidences in my life. And I'm like, wow, that really sucked. Through it all, in the end, this is what I concluded. This is the true nature of being a human. What is the true nature of reality of being a fish? Well, you fight for food. You can be hunted. If you all were a fish, you could be hunted. Someone's going to hunt for you. You're going to hunt little smaller fish. You can bite a very nasty hook. You could be thrown into an aquarium that you don't like. It's going to be cold as hell. Or it could be hot as hell and you have no saying. You can lose a fin. But if God gave you the ability to think, you're going to be like, wow, this really suck in here. And you're going to be a very angry fish. Until somebody like me comes along and tell you all, well, I'm sorry that you took rebirth into a fish, but this so happens to be, and you agree, yes, that this is the true nature of reality of being a fish. So what is the true nature of reality of being a human? You are subject to trauma. Okay, besides the first noble truth, old age, disease, death, decay, trauma, abuse, addiction. You are trapped in human form. Do you want to have sex? Yes. Will you be addicted to it? Yes. Why? Because it feels good. Same thing with chocolate. If you never tasted chocolate and somebody give you chocolate, you'll be like, dang, I got to go to the mall and get some more of those. And then you get diabetes and then you die. It's the truth. And then, so what's the true nature of reality of a boat? It leaks. I don't care what kind of boat you buy. $1 million or $5 from Walmart.